But still, they don't want to jump on even to this day. We're like, oh, bro, come on. Join us, man. We're just talking shit, man.
Because I found like once you're shy in the beginning, but when you jump on, you can't get off.
Yeah.
Especially having a few beers, everyone's like into it. Especially when we started
Talk
talking
about alcohol. Wait, that's number one, man.
Oh, you have to have something in front of you, like calm people or calm the nerves, maybe.
Yeah. And when you have too much alcohol, which you see on some of the podcasts, my earlier podcasts, is like, where's this guy going off his question? This is like a 10-minute question and doesn't even know what the hell he's asking, eh?
So, how did the For the Boys podcast start in the beginning? Like, was it you that started it? Was it come from your idea? Or?
No. It was so myself, Swanky, and Muffy. Myself and Swanky, we always spoke about podcasts and not creating a podcast, but just having listened to like all these podcasts. Bro, these are mean, I think the same with you guys, where you at an earlier stage where podcasts were just coming out. And I overheard when I was listening to you guys' podcast, to the Joe Rogans of the makers of these podcasts, and we started listening to some, we started sharing some, and then I think we're like at a stage where 2019, I think it was late 2019. A few of the boys at work were going through just problems within their, I think their personal lives, and we're trying to create a group to come together and let's talk about it, because you see the changes at work, you see them going through physical changes, and at some part of it just looked unhealthy. And not to say we're professionals at seeing and hearing this sort of stuff, but a few of the boys got together, and Swanky and I was speaking, how about we just get together and talk about it? It wasn't a podcast, just let's have a chat. So yeah, we created like a Zoom based like a platform where all the boys can jump on and have a chat.
Just a private.
It was meant to be a private one. So and even then the boys didn't want to jump on. I think it's the part where they didn't want to share just the personal stuff, but we'll like just mention it, and then as us Islanders, we just glaze over it. Oh yeah, and then we'll just move on to something else, because that's the last thing we want to talk about, our personal lives and having a cry about it. So we just created this platform for all of us to jump on. A few of the boys kept jumping on every now and then we knew it was going to be about mental health, or trying to help our people. And then I think he got to about maybe a few weeks into like trying to build a podcast or trying to start the group. And then, I think the boys are like, bro, why don't we just create a podcast where, I think this is the template that most people use anyway. They've thought of it in their way of podcasting, and we kind of thought about the same thing as, bringing people together, sharing our not only the goods but the bad stuff in their lives, and hopefully in the hopes that maybe it'll help one person out there, we just we wanted to help everyone in the world, but obviously you can't. So yeah, we're just trying to push it out to a few of the boys and say, look, bro, we know that a lot of people can benefit from just sharing their stories. So that was it. So once that base came along, that platform, it took off from there. Then we, at first we knew that not many people were gonna just jump on a live, because who wants to share, right? But we needed to be vulnerable as well. We needed to kind of, open up and let everyone into us, like into our kind of personal setting. And then when that started, I think that's when the ball started rolling. When we started approaching or reaching out to quite a few people, and we try to reach out to stars as well. Like a few famous people, just to bring them down to our level, like you guys were doing in your podcast, and hopefully in some way we get everyone's vulnerability. Everyone's vulnerable throughout the show, and it's a hard thing to try and push on people. It's I wouldn't be like that if someone is like, oh, how are you feeling? I'm not, I'm not a therapist, but that's the last thing I want people to hear. So no, that was it. So it was just based on a few of the boys that were coming together and just having a chat. And then a few episodes down, we introduced the live, and I think that's where it didn't blow up. We didn't get like 50,000 views. We only got a few from the family, and then I guess the best part about it is having your own like siblings or family reach out and say, hey man, thank you for this, because we didn't know that you were going through this, but at the same time they share their bit. So I guess that's been a blessing for us as well, just especially hearing from family, bro.
The mental health space has changed over the years, especially for Pacific Islanders, because man, when I was young, it's not talked about. It's hardened up, that kind of style. There are a lot of things like that. You couldn't show vulnerability to anybody, and I think the narrative has changed now, like because of mental health and people starting talking about it. I think what happens with you guys is that when people see, like, if someone is down in their life for some reason, and I think what they think is that I'm alone. No one has the same feeling I do. I don't know what to do. But when they hear other brown people say a story that's similar to theirs, and they go, "Oh shit, fucking, he's got the same thing too," and he's talking about it, and then they'll make that person think, "Man, maybe I should talk about mine, and someone else can feed off me and make him better." I think that's how it goes, and that's the domino effect that happens there around.
You're correct, bro. It's if we naturally try and help people out there. We're naturally trying to help, even if we saw someone on the side of the road that has going through something, or you see they need to change their tire or whatever. You naturally go, "Oh yeah, you're good," So, but we already have that. But when it comes to the mental side, the mental health, or I guess suffering, or just up here, it's a bit noisy. We are very, I think, particular in sharing what we want people to hear. So if we have people like us, people like yourselves, just letting it out, it helps everyone. It helps, and that's I think the biggest part of sharing is that if we share to help someone, that makes it 10 times better than what it is already. So if we, like, for us, and we try, and when we talk, you have to be vulnerable. Like, we have to be vulnerable too. You can't just, I'd hate to be that person and try and like say I'm a professional, I'm a therapist, but you open up. I want to hear all. You have to kind of meet them halfway and say you've gone through some as well. And which I think Swanky and Muffy and myself, everyone's gone through it, but everyone sees it in a different kind of light. My sort of, whatever upbringing I went through, or Muffy's upbringing, it's totally different. But in some sense, it's the same, because there was it's that trauma that's hard to let everyone know. Yeah, it's crazy that and we didn't start the movement of that. There's so many other podcasts that talk about how you should open up, but in your own time, obviously. But we just jumped on the journey that everyone else is doing, and try to shed the light with our Pacific and Polynesian brothers. So doing that first. Sharing our journey was probably the best, and then everything else kind of opened up, and we created a platform that hopefully not only do people listen to it now, but in the future they can look back and say, "Oh wow, actually these guys shared something," and maybe in the future they already know how to deal with it. That's just the way it is, and that's what hopefully podcast has done. Not only do you get to listen to sport, everything else, and mental health, you get to run it back a few years later and hear hopefully the good and the bad, you know.